everybody. This is Jeff, the business guru, coming to you from downtown Manila. I look a bit bleary-eyed. I've been going since 6 a.m. and it's now 11:30 p.m. So obviously I'm a bit serious about this. But I've got an awesome guest today. He's all the way from the States, and his name is Philip, I had it right before, but Masiello. And Philip is a founder of and CEO of CrunchGrowth Revenue Acceleration Agency. It's a mouthful, isn't it? CrunchGrowth Revenue Acceleration Agency. And he specializes in certain areas. He doesn't take anybody, guys. Specializes in consumer products and e-commerce. So if you're in that area, consumer products or e-commerce, it'd be an ideal man to reach out to. He's been doing this for 30 years, 30, guys. So you might know a thing or two about it. So reach out, have a cup. That's the worst you can do is have a cup of coffee with him and have a chat and see if you're a good match for each other. A brief description. Accelerating brand revenue and profit for consumer product brands using short form and long form video is one of his methods. Advertising across all platforms, including all programmatical, Meta, Google, connected TV ads, social media management, and Amazon marketing, and I'm sure, and more. Key achievements: founded, built, and scaled Raw Beauty, an international brand, in bricks, mortar, and retail and online. Exited, sold it to a large consumer product company, and then built and scaled and sold 800razors.com. That's interesting. It's not one of his $2 razor subscription model, was it?
It was we offered subscriptions, but it wasn't basically just a subscription model. No,
I thought it might be. Okay, fair enough. His personal motto is an old one, but an oldie but a goodie. Personal, forget what you did. Personal, people tongue-tied, guys. People forget what you say, but they'll never ever forget how you make them feel. And guys, Elevate everybody. Be a cheer squad for people, guys. It doesn't hurt you. My attitude is probably the same for you, Philip. Like, if I'm going to say anything, I'll say something positive. I'll never say anything negative.
Yeah.
I don't waste my energy on that. But
I'm
obviously saying positive stuff about people all the time. Cost you nothing, guys. Cost you nothing. Yeah. Right? So, interesting fact about himself. I was going to call you earlier. I was going to say, we got Tom Cruise in the house. This man, he does all his own stunts. Right? I don't know if you guys have seen the latest Tom Cruise movie. That's a bit hard to believe, that one. He's doing his own stunts, allegedly, and he's up in these little tigers. You seen the movie yet?
No, I have not.
He's up in these a tiger moth. The first one, there's two tiger moths, right? The crook's in one, and another crook's in another one, and he's on the ground. He runs along the runway at 1,000 miles an hour and managed to jump on and hold on to one of the wheels. Well, imagine this, as it takes off, it gets up in the air, he managed to climb into the cockpit, smack that guy in the head and throw him out.
Yeah.
And takes over. So then he and the supervillain are going along. He's trying to chase a supervillain. So the supervillain's clever enough to come back and virtually cut one of his wings off. They like have a dogfight. Right? So Tom's about to go down. So he jumps from one plane, right, mid-air, mind you, to the other plane, and once again hangs on to one of the struts. Same deal, gets up and then bashes up the baddie. Man, that's pretty cool, right? And,
yeah, he does his own stunts.
Yeah, and imagine the speed that's going at. I mean,
I know.
It's hard to believe, and especially the fact that you can use AI these days, you wonder why they do it. But, I'll believe it. If they say it's true, I believe it. But let's get out. Let's give you 15 minutes of fame. Make you a bit like Tom Cruise. Tell us about your journey and what inspired you to pursue your current career path all those years ago. Where did it start, Phil?
That's a long story. I grew up in the restaurant business, and
really,
my family owned restaurants, and I thought that's a hard
business, my friend. It's a hard business.
I thought that was going to be my
career.
Yeah. And then I went to college, and I was in college down in Miami, and I realized from working in the hotels and restaurants down there that I didn't want to do that. It's a terrible life. And so, but I knew a lot about food. So when I came back, I founded my first business, which was, I came back to New York. That's where I grew up. And I founded a specialty food store because I knew a lot about food. And and it was an absolute disaster. It was terrible. The store itself did really, really well.
Yep.
But I was terrible leader, terrible process manager. It was just awful. And I did it for 3 years, and I probably would have been better off just working at McDonald's. I would have made more money. So I sold it, took the money that I had left, and I moved down to Maryland. I went to graduate school, not because I thought that I needed more education, but I needed to change the way I thought.
Yes.
And so while I was down here, I invested a little bit into a specialty food store that had 2 stores, specialty food company, and they were growing. So I got involved with that, and we grew that to about 12 stores in DC. And then we bought Balducci's in New York and Heyday Markets in Connecticut. And then we sold it. And by then I saw all the flaws that I had done in my first business, and I wasn't going to repeat them. And I founded another business called the Daily Market, which were grab-and-go meal stores in DC. We built one of the first meal websites online.
What's a website?
Like what Blue Apron is doing, or any of these companies that sell meals, right? Packaged meals coming to your house. But this was in the early days of the internet and of e-commerce.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, we did quite well acquiring customers. We scaled to about $1 million the first year, but the problem was that, our biggest issue was supply chain outgoing, because UPS, FedEx, they just weren't prepared at that time to handle that type of shipment. But nonetheless, we caught the attention of a supermarket chain and wound up selling the business to a supermarket chain, and I went to work for them for a couple of years. And admittedly, I am a terrible employee. I'm not a good employee because I see things differently, and I think we should focus on different things. And so I was there for about 2 years.
Quicker, right?
Yeah, and then I founded Raw Beauty with Carol Alt. She was a supermodel, and we started it on the shopping channels here and abroad, and that did very well. And we were on one of the first brands on Amazon outside of books, CDs, music, and all that. And then when Bezos opened up the platform around 2006, and we sold on our e-commerce site, and then eventually we started getting into retail, Ulta Beauty, Sephora, Shoppers Drug Mart in Canada. So, and then it was attractive enough to get acquired by a consumer product company. And then I had this idea to do shaving, and we started with, we had a major shaving company. I mean, it's not really a secret anymore, but a company called Edgewell, which is the personal care was the personal care division of Energizer. Now it's a separate company. So Energizer batteries had 2 different divisions, personal care and then batteries. And so they owned Schick. And so we went to them to do this, and they said, look, we don't know anything about direct to consumer, so it'd be interesting to us to do it so we can understand e-commerce and direct to consumer. And so they gave us a razor, men's and women's, and we had an exclusive on it. And we had
you talking disposable or?
No. These were 5-blade, 3-blade, high quality razors, Schick equivalents. They were essentially white labeled Schick products, but you couldn't tell. And so it was a great shave. But our focus was really on, because we came out of the skincare business, our focus was really on all the other products that you could use with shaving. So we had a fantastic shave cream, not a foamy one, but more of a lotiony one for men, one for women. We had aftershave lotion. We had, things like that. So everything to round out the shave. And that's more of what we were trying to sell more, right? Yes. The razors were sort of the tripwire to get people in.
I get it.
And so but that area, that channel that category got really, really hot, really, really fast, because Dollar Shave Club came in and Harry's came in and all these brands came in. Right. And, people started looking to acquire us. And so we wound up selling. I thought it was premature, but I didn't have control. We had other investors. And from there, so then what happened after we sold was, Energizer or Edgewell came to me and said, look, we don't know anything about direct to consumer. We don't sell direct to consumer. We sell to supermarkets, drug, club stores, etc. We do private label for, the Targets and the Walmarts of the world and the Amazons of the world, but we don't know how to sell on Amazon and all that. So we need somebody to help us. And so we started out building websites for them, direct to consumer. We started out getting product onto Amazon to sell. We managed that whole process for them and doing the advertising and doing the marketing. And what happened was I didn't want to be tied just to one company. So we started getting others. And so that's sort of how we got into this. And so we still have our first customers that we've ever had, and we don't lose them.
You had quite an adventure, my friend.
It was an adventure.
Yeah, you almost write a book, and you've been very fortunate that you've done some good deals along the way, by the sound of it.
I have written books, 4 of them.
Yeah? Oh, is that right? They're your books in the background, eh?
Yeah, those are mine. Shameless self-promotion. This is the latest one. Why Behind the Buy.
What's it called? Why?
The Why Behind the Buy. It's
all right. Not bad. I like that. Why Behind the Buy?
It's about how to sell to consumers today. It's about what we were talking about before, which is, you can't just go right into the sell. You have to tell people what's the benefit to the end user of what you're selling. If you're just saying to them, here, buy my product, it falls on deaf ears. And that's what happens to a lot of people. They just start going out and advertising. They don't make a connection with their end user.
They have a need and what you can do for them. Cool.
Right.
Do you know the saying with them? What's in it for me?
Yeah, it's the same thing. What's in it? That's what customers say. Okay, great. Buy your product. What's in it for me? What's the benefit that I'm going to get out of it?
That's it. They care about themselves, naturally. What's been the most challenging aspect of your work, Philip, over all these years? How have you overcome it?
The most challenging? I think growth is always the most challenging. And structured growth. I mean, there's 2 ways to go when you have a business like ours, which is an agency. You can take on every single customer, every single client that comes to you, at which point you become a sort of a burn and churn agency where it's difficult to manage. You get the growth, but are you really satisfying those people? Or you could take the other path where you're very specific about who you want to work with and how you want to work. Because, if you can't, our philosophy is if we can't help somebody, if we can't achieve the goal that they want, then we're not going to take them on as a client. And we know pretty quickly if we can or not. So, for us, trying to figure out exactly who that ideal client has been over the years. And the growth has been a lot slower than for some other people, but our retention rate is a lot higher and our, long-term. Yeah.
Any fool can make a one-off sale for a month, but, you want to keep these people. That's half the battle, guys. If you keep them, your income keeps on growing. And it's so much, and they're people you can upgrade and sell more product to, in fact. So you can take it to another level, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's one of my models. We start off on one level, and as I improve their bottom line, we move up the scale. Most people are happy with that. Tell us an important moment in your career that pretty much changed your overall direction. That aha moment.
My aha moment? So I told you that my first business was a complete disaster.
Yes.
And that was one aha moment because I still carry that with me because of the mistakes I made.
Sure.
And and along the way, I did a speech for entrepreneurs back in February, and I opened it up and I said, I've founded 10 businesses in my life. And everybody goes, ooh, ah. And I sort of let it sit there for a minute. And then I said, but only 4 have been successable. And the other 6 were disasters. Yeah. So I have aha moments every couple of years.
I want to be successful, but I'll share a secret with you. You'll know this. My ego, I go, I'm going to kill it. I'm going to go into this business, rah, rah, rah. Each one of my businesses, all my new businesses, each one of them took a minimum 6 months before I made a dime.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what I didn't know. I thought I knew. You get into it and you go, hang on, I've got the wrong cheeses or I've got the wrong wines or whatever.
Yeah. My ego got us into some businesses that, we shouldn't have been in. We shouldn't have been in fashion. We got into fashion.
That changes real quick.
We thought, well, we know how to do this and we know how to market and all that, but I can barely dress myself, let alone how am I going to dress other people? So, especially,
I get it.
we got into some nutraceutical businesses and things like that. And so those are my aha moments. I learned, but I'm just like the kid with the flame. I know it's going to burn, but I touch it anyway. And then it burns and I go, oh, I shouldn't have done that. So
I tell people the story. Your mother tells you, don't touch the stove, it's hot. What's the first thing you do when she turns her back? You go and touch the stove.
You go and touch the stove.
Yeah.
So it's exactly right.
Yeah, very much so. So it's an important moment in your career that pretty much changed your direction. Where was the big change?
The big change was I started out, I built that business. It was a failure. I went to graduate school and that was okay. It got me thinking, but the big change was when I joined this small, specialty food company that had plans to grow, and they had the capital and all that.
How old were you? About 40? That time.
How long?
How old were you?
Oh no, I was in my early 30s.
Oh, God, you're a boy. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I started my first business when I was 26.
Yeah.
26, 27.
Yeah.
So, but but there, I really understood. I learned from these guys because the founders were real estate developers, and they got into the business because they were building this massive mixed use community, and they wanted a specialty food store in there, and they couldn't find one that they wanted, and they didn't want a traditional grocery store because it was very high end. So they bought this little store or this little company, and then they wanted to expand it. And so at that point, I really learned what business was all about, and because you can build a store, but you can build a business, but you have to be able to finance it somehow, whether you bootstrap it, whether you raise capital, whatever you do, because and you have to make sure that you're making a profit, and you have to hit those metrics, and you've got to be careful about how you're spending money and how you're allocating resources.
I think you'd agree, you got to know them weekly, not 3 months time, guys.
Oh no, you got to know them almost daily. But you got to, especially today. But anyway, those guys really taught me how to manage a business and manage growth, because growth is great, but growth also sucks up resources. And you could sit there and say, okay, well, we could open up 12 stores next year, but we don't have the staff to do it. We don't have the infrastructure to do it. We don't have the capital to do it. We don't have the locations to do it. So that was a really big lesson for me, and a really big turning point in just really how to manage and grow a business, because we grew very quickly, and it required a tremendous amount of planning.
Yeah. And sometimes, I think you'd agree with me, sometimes you might have your superstore, right? You're doing really well, and you go and open up, and you as an individual, you go and open up a couple more, and those couple more start sucking up money and your time, and your original business can start to flounder as well, right? Because
absolutely,
because your energy is going in 3 different directions, right? So you've got to be super careful and get the right people is the key to this, guys. Location, of course, is very important, but the key people, these businesses are people businesses, guys. So you need good people, and good people are not easy to find, and you've got to treat good people.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
In your opinion, Phil, what's in your opinion, what have been the key qualities that helped? You've obviously been terribly successful. What have been the ones, a lot of key qualities and skills you believe have contributed to your success?
I don't know if these are ones that you want to really replicate, but I think blindless stupidity is one.
Yeah, absolutely. Common sense can overcome that one.
Yeah, I have no fear of failure. I have no fear of failure.
Yeah, just do it.
I don't know why. There's a lot of people out there that are more methodical than me, but I'm more of a, let's just do it and see what happens.
Yeah, I'm the same. Never give up. If the guy knocks me down, I bite him on the ankle.
Yeah. And but I am strategically, I do have a better strategic mind. So before I make that commitment, I'll do the research, but you know, I have a tendency of falling in love with some of the opportunities that come my way. But I do have I am not afraid of failure, and I think that failure. You know, people are afraid of failure, and people, especially entrepreneurs and startups, they're always afraid that
it's a lesson. It's not a failure.
yeah,
It's
yeah, and you may, even if you have a successful business, you may start failing, and you got to right yourself, right? Because I've seen a lot of businesses, ones that we work with, that go from 5 million to 15 million, and then they get stuck at 15 million because the things that they were doing before don't work anymore.
yes.
And you have to change your messaging, and then to go from 15 to 30 million, and then you get stuck again. But a lot of entrepreneurs have a hard time, or a lot of founders have a hard time, with that, overcoming that, because they feel like it's a personal thing for them. And I always tell people that we work with, like, that are stuck. I talked about Larry Ellison and Oracle, because there was a period of time back in the early 90s. Oracle wasn't as big as it is today. It wasn't a huge company, and it was a couple of $100 million, but he almost lost it. He almost failed. And it was his own undoing, because he wouldn't see the fact that the people that got him from startup to 200 million were not the people that could get him to $1 billion. And it took him a long time to come to that realization that he needed to rebuild his team. It's not that the people weren't nice people, but it just wasn't the right team to scale with.
Yeah, that's right. You've got to go to the next level, what I call the high jump. Tell us, how do you stay motivated and continue, as you have done, and continue to innovate in your field, Philip? What's your secret?
Oh, I love what I do. I mean, honestly, I wake up, I wake up every day, and I think that the beauty of what I do every day is the challenge is always new. You have to think about, I mean, we wouldn't be successful if we were still doing the same things and operating the same way we were operating 15 years ago, or 10 years ago, or even 5 years ago.
Like
not,
that camera.
but I love that there's always something new that's coming out, right? AI has been a big deal for the last 4 or 5 years.
That's a rabbit hole. It's a rabbit hole.
Yeah, and it's changed a lot of different processes for us. So
yeah, and you don't have to fear AI, guys. Don't fear AI, guys. You'll always have a job if you know AI. The people who've got something to fear, the people that know nothing about AI. You'll be the ones that suffer. Yeah, you got to learn AI, whether you like it or not. I'm 77, guys, and I'm on AI, 4 and 5 hours a day with new stuff, new technology, because it just changes so darn quick. But as I said earlier, get mentors, guys. Get people to teach you and help you, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about a recent project or achievement you're particularly proud of. Apart from your 4 books, that's a pretty good achievement in itself.
What an achievement that I'm very proud of. I think I will say that the biggest achievement that I'm proud of is the fact that my wife and I have 5 children, and 3 are already college graduates. 2 more will be college graduates. They're going to go into their last year, and some are graduate school, and they're moving into real life and becoming adults and on their own. They have goals and ambitions on their own. Fantastic. They're their own people.
Yeah,
and so that's, I think, what I'm most proud of.
I've got a theory about this college stuff, right? They come out, they go to small school, then high school, then university, right? And they come out when they're 23. They got the gown and the hat, and they throw the hat up in the air. Hello, here's a piece of paper. Guess what happens? In your town, 400 engineers come out at the same time, and there's only 10 jobs. Yeah. My question is, where do the other 390 go? They end up at McDonald's. They meet the waitress. They buy a car. They buy a house, and they're dead when they're 70. They've never lived out of their suburb. You know the type, right?
Yeah. Well, my children have all been working since they were about 14 years old, 13 years old. They know the value of money. Yeah. They know where they want to go, and they've been working on it, forever. So they've got the contacts. I mean, they're really great young adults. Oh yeah, I think it's the greatest thing. I credit my wife 100%.
They traveling much?
Am I?
No, your children, are they starting to travel and get out and about?
Oh yeah, no, my kids have been all over the place. Yeah, they've been all over the world on their own. They have their own money.
Travel's the best thing you could ever do, guys. If you ever get a chance to travel. I know people.
Yeah.
I know people. I kid you not, guys. I know people have never left their own suburb, let alone their own state, and that is good on them. And that's what they love. That's good for them. But I think it's personally, I think it's very, very sad because I have so much fun when I travel. Right, because the people you meet, the adventures that happen, it just keeps on happening. It's like a movie.
Absolutely.
Right. What advice would you give a younger version of yourself now, a 20-year-old? What would you tell him to do? Don't open up a food store.
Yeah, get a job. No, I think
Trust your
that
gut, I'll tell him.
no, the advice that I would give myself if I could go back would be to pay more attention to, you don't have to know everything. I think the mistake I made when I first started was I thought that I had to know everything. Like, I'm the owner, I'm the CEO, I'm the founder of this business. I have to know everything. And you don't, you have to surround yourself with people that can do that, that can help you get to where you want to be.
That's right. You've got different skill sets. And I'd say I would add, guys, be wary of partners because it's like a marriage after work. Do joint ventures, right, if you can, and be wary of partners because sometimes you might have all the good intentions in the world, but your partner does not, right?
Yeah.
And partnerships are notoriously going bad. So be careful what you wish for. Try and keep control if you can, guys. That's always been my secret. No partners. Joint ventures, no problem. Partners, no, thank you. Looking ahead, what are your goals and aspirations for the future? You've got a long way to go yet. You're only a young man. What are your goals and aspirations?
Really my goal, my long-term goal right now is to figure out where my wife and I want to retire to in a couple of 5 or 10 years.
Italy sounds like it'd be a good place to go.
Italy is a great place to go, and my wife and I are learning to speak Italian, so we can do that. But from our business goal is to gain another 30-40%, and make sure that the people that have been with me the longest, there comes a point where you have to figure out what you want to do, and I don't think I want to sell the business to just another company because we get those types of all the time. We have people calling us up, but I think that trying to figure out how to exit at some point, but yet let the people own it and that's not an easy thing to do. So it takes some planning.
I've done something similar over the years. I've exited and then said, look, guys, you keep 60, give me my 40. I'll steer the ship from afar. I'll help you when you need help. But, and there it is, guys. In other words, for example, they were on, say, $800 a week back in Australia in those days. And then I put them in a position where they were able to get $1,800 a week. They were getting an extra 1,000 each. A couple of them getting 1,000 a week cash in their pocket on top.
Yeah.
It's a win-win. It's lovely. They deserve it. Because without them, we go far with people. We need people.
Absolutely.
Good people. That's the key. Good, and you'll know. And remember, guys, the cream always rises to the top, right? Always. So just keep an eye out for the cream. Anyway, we're about to wrap this up very shortly. Tell our listeners and people watching this wonderful podcast, what's the best way to reach out to you, Richard, and get some of your advice and possibly become your client? What's the best way?
Well, from a business, we have, you can always reach me at crunchgrowth.com, crunchgrowth. And on the personal side, you can reach me at philmasiello.com. You can also always reach me at LinkedIn. I'm very active on LinkedIn. But those are or Facebook. I'm all over the place. I'm not difficult to find. If you Google me, you'll see. You can find me in about 100 places.
Yeah. Now, we're about to wrap it up. Before we wrap it up, tell us a fun fact about yourself that most people don't know.
Fun fact.
Values, we know that.
What's that?
I said, you've had a heap of failures and you've come out the other end.
I do have a heap of failures, but I do my own stunts. No,
What sort of stunts? I was curious about that. What sort of stunts were you
no,
talking about?
I'm just I was just being funny. I do
Right?
my own stunts. I do my own stunts, meaning I create my own mess as I go along.
Right. Yeah, I'm
I
good at that.
I
I'm
take
good at that.
responsibility for that.
I'm a typical
But I
entrepreneur.
used to I used to be a competitive triathlete.
Is that
Not a
right?
lot of people know that. Yeah. For years,
Yeah.
swim, bike, and run.
Interesting. Interesting. All right. What nationality is your wife, by the way?
My wife is she's American. She's um, her ethnicity is she was like
Interesting.
Irish and German-ish.
Irish. Oh, wow. Irish. Wow, you're in trouble.
Yeah,
Irish.
yeah,
You better pay attention. Do what you're told.
yeah. Exactly. Well, I always do what I'm told.
You,
The
you know
kids
how
make the
that's a
kids
key to
make fun of
that's a
that.
key to a good marriage, isn't it? Just do what you're told.
The kids make fun of that because they always say that I have to do whatever mom tells me to do.
That's right.
So
I know all about that. Don't worry.
yeah,
Guys, you've been an awesome guest, Phil. And guys, if you want your 15 minutes of fame, just like Phil, every man and woman's got a story, and we've all had hurdles, guys. I don't know anyone, if you've been born with a silver spoon in your mouth, I don't know anyone that has it easy. Life's not easy, but it's a challenge, but it's a lot of fun, right? I wouldn't be dead for quits. But guys, so if you want to come on the show, 15 minutes of fame, think about it, guys. A TV commercial would set you back about $30,000, and they might go and crack a beer or make a coffee or make a burger while your ad's on. If you had 10 radio spots in your city, you're probably looking at between 3 and 5,000. They may play them at 2 in the morning while you're asleep. But you can come on 15 minutes of fame, guys. We'll put you over all the social media channels and potentially put you in front of thousands of people. So once again, thanks for being on the show, Phil. It's been a pleasure.
yeah. Thanks for having me. It's great.